as awful as it sounds, you just need to sell yourself, but you need to talk about yourself, talk about your expertise. I use a framework called the ABC model, keep it really simple, the ABC. It's answer questions, be an expert, and communicate what you do. I think a lot of people forget to tell people exactly how to work with them and what they need to be doing. So yeah, it's a really simple framework, but it generates a lot of different content ideas based around you, your expertise, and what you bring to the table, what makes you different. So just think about what makes you different, and maybe that will give you one content idea.
Hello and welcome back. Today I'm with Emma Peries, and she's going to be talking about how to market your business on social media. So before we get into it, Emma, welcome.
Thank you.
And can you tell the audience a little bit about yourself?
Yeah. So hi, I'm Emma Peries. My business name is Digital Mother, and I help female founders go from content stress to social media success. I specialise in Instagram and LinkedIn, so I help those female founders who have to wear all the hats know how to market their business on those social platforms.
Splendid. So what are the main challenges women entrepreneurs face running a business?
I think running a business as a female founder comes with a lot of pros and cons, and many are intertwined. I think lots of us do it for the freedom to work around our families, but with that means we've got to still juggle the family and the load that comes with that, whether that's a mental load and a physical load, working around school hours and that sort of thing. And obviously as a solopreneur, you have to wear so many different hats. You know, most of us go into business with a chosen speciality because you are passionate about something, and then you realise you need to market your own business, you need to sell, you need to, do all the different things that most people have someone else to do that for, but actually you have to do all the things. So I think the juggle is really what faces most women business owners.
Right. So how does someone get started with social media, and can you offer some of the tips to help them get started, or just navigate through this minefield?
And I think that's the first thing. It feels like a huge minefield. So I think for me, it's start slowly, and also to focus on one platform maybe to start with. And that's, how do you choose which platform that is? Well, everything in marketing starts with your audience. So I've just started with a new client today, and the first thing we do is we look at their audience, and we look at them inside out, at their motivations, their ambitions, and how you solve their problems. And then you choose the right platform, social media platform, based on where you think that client is, and we can make a very educated guess based on analytics of the different platforms. So I can remember when I trained on all the kind of the big platforms 10 years ago, and I tried to do them all, and then I thought, why am I not taking my own advice and not focusing on one or two platforms, which is now why I specialise on Instagram and LinkedIn, because it is pretty impossible as a female solopreneur to be everywhere all the time. And a lot of people at the moment are saying you need to be everywhere, and I don't disagree with that. But the people that I work with and I help, they are the female solopreneurs. They are juggling all the things, wearing all the hats. And I think it's the quickest way to burn out. It's really difficult to be doing all the things at the same time. When I was doing social media management, we'd average about 5 hours a week on one social platform. So if you're on two, that's 10 hours a week. I'm sure most people who are running their own business don't have a spare 10 hours a week. So my biggest thing would be, look at your audience. Who are they? Where are they hanging out? Do some research as to the platforms, and then, show up where you think they are.
So another important point, which is how do people turn their expertise into content?
Well, I'd say it's really easy, wouldn't I? Because I see, I'm a former broadcast journalist. I've worked with pictures and words for a long time. I was doing, telling stories on the telly. So I do see content and everything. But my biggest message this year is the power of you. And I think there are hundreds of social media experts. There are probably hundreds of whatever it is that you are. But what sets you apart from all those other people within your business? It's you. It's you. It's your expertise. It's your experience, what you bring to the table, and normally your personality. If you're a female solopreneur, they're buying you. They're buying into you. People will work with me, or they'll work with somebody else because they like you as a person. That know, like, and trust model. So, as awful as it sounds, you just need to sell yourself, but you need to talk about yourself. Talk about your expertise. I use a framework called the ABC model. Keep it really simple, the ABC. It's answer questions, be an expert, and communicate what you do. I think a lot of people forget to tell people exactly how to work with them and what they need to be doing. So yeah, it's a really simple framework, but it generates a lot of different content ideas based around you, your expertise, and what you bring to the table, what makes you different. So just think about what makes you different, and maybe that will give you one content idea.
How often should I post? Because we're told, you should be posting every day, and that's just going to lead to burnout too, isn't it?
Yeah. But funnily enough, there's been quite a lot of research about this recently, which is great. My advice is always you post based around your how often you think you can do it realistically, talking about that burnout thing. I could tell you to post every day. I don't actually tell people to post every day because I don't believe that's optimal at the moment. But what I try and get people to do is tell me how much time they've got, and then we will base a rhythm around that. And maybe you only start posting once a week and you build up to what we class as optimal posting. But I think you need to find a rhythm and find what you're comfortable with before you go all in. However, I think 3 times a week on both LinkedIn and Instagram. Instagram is a different beast in itself because there's stories and there's lots of different things, but a general guide would be, I think 3 times a week is enough to grow, and there has been research on that recently to show you can post once a week if you just want to maintain, but if you want to grow, then you need to be posting at least 3 times a week.
Yes. And the type of content, originally people started with blogs, and we're blogging every day, but as we move more into videos certainly seems to be the media now, especially with sophisticated smartphones, and it's so easy to make video with your phone now. Let's talk about the type of content people should be using. Are blogs still valid now?
Yeah, I think there is a range of different digital marketing things that you can do, and I don't necessarily think one is better than the other, but I do think you need to, especially if you're a female solopreneur, pick what not only works for your audience but works for you. If you're enjoying the process, whether it's writing a blog or making a video for social media, you're so much more likely to stick to it. So I think what I teach quite a lot is, I obviously encourage video formats on social media because that's where it is at, and I really believe that. Back in 2017 when I trained, you wouldn't have had to show your face on social media, but now, along with the power of you really need to start showing up in your videos, and the more you can do that, the more powerful they are. But within that sort of video genre is find a format that works for you. On Instagram, you can talk to the camera, which is great, but you can also use a B-roll reel where you show up, but you're not talking to camera. So these people that think, oh my goodness, I can't possibly talk to the camera. Yeah, that's a really good place to start. And that B-roll reels can be really, really super effective. I'll just explain what a B-roll reel is, because somebody asked me this yesterday, and I sometimes use this terminology, which I think people know. And it stems from back in the old days of film. There was A reel, which
Yeah.
is literally the movie footage where you'd see your actors doing all the bits that they need to do. And the B roll are the bits that sort of fill the gaps.
Yes.
So it might be like a cutaway of the river or something like that.
Yeah.
We've taken that B roll sort of thing, so kind of throwaway footage, and made it a thing really in social media.
Yes.
But if you can get in the B roll, so what I mean by that is maybe you're typing on your computer and you're just having a shot of you doing that literally for 10 seconds, or
Yeah.
you're sat here by the river, or something like that. It's, you know, that's kind of what we call B-roll footage, and you can put a hook on there on Instagram, and that can make a great piece of content. I think the video itself, unless you're talking to camera,
Yeah.
is almost a vehicle now for the words and the message, rather than being the, you know, it doesn't need to be a film or a movie that you're putting on social media.
Can you talk about your club?
Yeah, I'd love to. It's called the Digital Mother Content Club, because I help people create content. We meet once a month. It's full of female founders, female solopreneurs.
Yeah.
And what we do is I teach them basically, you know, the different things that we've talked about. I teach them how to show up on Instagram and LinkedIn. That might be the formula that I use for a B-roll reel, for example. It might be the ABC formula that we've discussed, like how do we do that? And actually we use that every month to create content. And then I also can just help support them. I think a lot of it's to do with confidence, not knowing where to start, and just having a group of female solopreneurs that are together. We can support each other.
Yes.
You know that people are having the same worries. You're not thinking, oh, is it only me that can't do this? Why can't I show up? So it's a really supportive network. It keeps you up to date with all the ever-changing things on Instagram and LinkedIn. But yeah, in a really safe space, really. So
yeah, that's very important. The community and sharing ideas.
And we all, you know, people can then support each other content, and which I urge with caution, but you know, that's nice as well, that you know that you've got people feeding back, and just supporting you in every way possible.
Yeah. And people can find this on your website?
Yes, so if you just go to digitalmother.co.uk/content club, all the details are there. I started it, it's been running for about 3 years. I started it because I wanted to help more people like me. There were so many people that would come to me and say, oh, you know, I'm just starting out, I don't really know what to do, but I can't really afford, you know, to do a 3-month coaching program with you or something like that. And I just really wanted to find a relatively inexpensive, supportive group where I still teach strategy. I can still hold your hand and build your confidence, but at a fraction of the price. And that's why it was born, and it's been going for 3 years.
That's great. Wonderful. Yeah. Is there anything else you'd like to mention?
So I'm really passionate about female founders being seen and heard, and I think that's reflected in social media content as well, and being you. But what I'm trying to do here in Kingston at the moment is build a community too.
Yeah.
I believe that it's not just about being online and being digital. I really believe in real life connection, and I see networking and social media going hand in hand. So I believe, you know, you meet someone at a networking, you can then connect with them on social media and you can continue those conversations. So I've actually started my own networking here in Town Square, Kingston, which is by the river, and I'm, you know, doing dinners for female founders with another female founder. So yeah, I'm really passionate about not just being online all the time, but about making real connections in person too.
Yeah. I'd like to thank you very much for your talk today. It was really good to have you here. If people want to get in touch with you, what's the best way?
Well, thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure. They can look on my website, digitalmother.co.uk. I'm digitalmother or digital.mother on Instagram, and my email is emma@digitalmother.co.uk. So any of those places.
Okay, and I'll post Emma's bio and contact details below this video. And if you got some value from this video, then please like, share and subscribe. And I look forward to seeing you next time. Thanks. Bye.